Hello everyone! So from time to time people come to me and ask me, hey, how do you make a chart like this? You can see it's slightly different when just two bars. It has some effects or something like floating parts on top of a bar, and it's different. And usually they use just a simple bar chart and they can't do like this. And then, of course, I'm proudly explaining to them, I'm using a combo chart, not a bar chart. That's why I can do something like this. So, would you like to know more about this combo chart? I guess that's why you're watching this video. So let's jump in. I have application already created for the Qlik Sense with the data. From my previous video you can see how the data was formatted and how the first application was created and how it was imported. So if you are interested, please definitely check that out. On the left menu, let's select charts, and here we go. We have a simple bar chart at the top. Of course, we don't want to use it now, and we have a combo chart a little bit below. This icon is slightly different. It might not be easy to find it out, but yeah, once you grab it, just drag and drop on your Qlik Sense environment. Now let's add the dimension. So there are two ways to add the dimension. You can press here and type a field. We are gonna use years in this case. So we have date and we have different options: months, quarters, weeks, years. We're gonna choose year, yes, okay. And for the measure, let's add the first measure. Again, we can press here to find it, or if we want to look at all fields more easily, we can press fields on the left menu and we will see all the fields. So in this case we have amount and we have sum. I want to add sum. Let's select add as a measure, and we have a couple of options: sum, count, average, minimum, maximum. So in this case, let's add sum. Here we go. First bars are here. Once we have the bars, let's add another measure because we want to have it nice and fancy. Again, we can drag and drop one of our data fields, add as a measure, and again, some amount. It's a combo chart, so Qlik Sense instantly changes to something what it thinks it looks better, and basically this is the same bars and this is a line chart. It's like kind of default configuration for this chart, but we can easily revert this change to anything we would like. So we have our measures, sum and amount. Just for an easier work, let's title it. Let's type the labels. This is expenses and this is revenue. And you can see on the revenue it's already marked as the line. If you press bars, we'll see two nice bars near to each other again. Line looks like this and marker looks like this. As for the marker, you can select what you would like to see: circle, square, diamond. Actually, we can go for this. Square looks like this, diamond like this, triangle like this, but for some reason I like lines, so I'll just keep the lines. Another thing, maybe you noticed or maybe not, but you can see there are two axes now. One on the left side, it's for the expenses, and one for the right side, it's for the revenue. And you can see they are different. In some cases this might be useful, in some cases not. Let's see what we can do in Qlik Sense with these two axes. We have that option here, and we can select if we want to have a secondary axis or we want to have a primary axis. If we select primary axis, everything will be on one axis, and as you can see, the chart looks, well, a little bit different now, because there were more revenue and less expenses. If you select secondary axis, again, this goes to the top, and this one also goes almost to the top. Let's leave the primary axis for now. The master item is some kind of formula. If you have a complicated formula to show your data, you can create a master item and then use it. If we press add new, here is our expression, the formula, revenue, label, description, and everything else. What's the difference between just typing the formula into the data field? You can use it next time for a different chart. That's the main reason. Because you can see expression here, let's press cancel now, and you can see expression here as well, the same formula. So basically, if you want some kind of formula only for this chart, just type the formula in here and it will be showed very nicely. If you want to use that formula again in some other charts, you can use it as a master item. The same goes with the first column we called expenses, title, number formatting, and bars, line, or marker. So if you select line, our lines became really small now. And if you select marker, it looks a little bit too empty, I guess. Let's leave bars for the expenses. As you can see, here is a number formatting, and auto, it just adds the numbers like 10K, 9K, 8K. But you can choose, for example, money. And once you choose money, you can see the amounts with exact numbers. In this case, we don't need these exact amounts. Actually, you can even format it here, like that it could be without zeros, without cents. Yep, let's delete it. Enter, here you go. Just amount without any cents. But in this case, let's leave it auto, and we have a nice numbers in here. It's short and understandable. Another thing that you can do in this chart, and probably you would want to do, is to add the numbers on top of the columns. Presentation, and we have bar labels. It's off now, let's make it on. You have the digits on your bar charts. Another thing that you might want to do, you might want to look for the sorting. So in this case, we have years. As you can see, we can extend, and we can, for example, select that we want descending. So from this year to the older year. Numerically or alphabetically, you can choose. In this case, it doesn't really matter because it's just the digits, but if you want, you can sort, for example, by the revenue. Let's drag and drop this column to the front, and here you go. The top revenue goes at the beginning, and the least revenue goes to the right side. Of course, the years are different because each year the revenue was different, but if you need something like that, you can easily do that. It looks a little bit nicer by the years, so let's just drag and drop the year again to the top, and here you go. You have years at the beginning. In add-ons menu option, there is a data handling option. In some cases, the data is not cleaned very well. Cleared, cleaned, whatever you call it. And there are null values in it. And if you do some kind of counting, well, if you do sum like here, it doesn't really matter. But if you do in a formula counts, those lines, that data can be counted. So in that case, you might find this useful to deselect those null values. So basically this option includes 0 values. We can deselect it, we can leave it selected. It doesn't really matter in this case because it's a sum, not the count. So there is not much big difference. But we can leave it unchecked. We have a parents tab, which has some options as well. So first of all, title. We can type bar chart. Here you go. You have a title at the top of your chart. Actually, No, it's not a bar chart, it's a combo chart. Let's not confuse the people, shall we? We have a subtitle. It will be just below the title. If you have, well, it will be smaller, so you can add more text in here. And footnote. This will appear at the end, in here, at the bottom. So it's more like a disclaimer explaining what does this show. And we have an option, show details or hide details. In this case, it's not changing anything in here because it will be for the users. The users will be able to make some changes by themselves, not just the filters, but like to select if they want to see the title, captions, footnote and all those things or not. Basically, usually we are not able to do that, but if you check this option, we will be able to do it. Now we have alternate states, and this is related to the master item as well. In this case, we don't have any master items, so let's go to another one, and it's the presentation. So in here we have scroll alignment, you can select start or end, and the bar labels, the ones I told you before. So yeah, let's leave it auto now, let's leave the labels. As for the colors and legends, you can select colors and you can select like single, multicolor or by measure. In Qlik Sense, you don't have opportunity to do whatever you want with the colors. For example, if you have two bars, two columns in your bar chart, let's say, and you want to have a color similar to each other, unfortunately, you won't be able to do that. You can choose one color if there is like a bar chart for the whole chart, and then you can choose this kinda 12 colors or 100 colors, but they are set up automatically. So unfortunately, you will not have many options in here. If you select 12 colors, well, it looks like this. If you select 100 colors, it changes the color automatically, but basically that's all. You can't do anything more about the colors. If you set up by measure, we have a couple more options, and you can select what kind of measures you would like to use. But these colors are also automatic. You can't change, let's say, from blue to green. Oh, no, that's not possible. You can select only from these kind of options. Of course, you can select reverse colors, so it will be different from the other side, but that's basically the all. And you can type a measure you would like to see the colors in here. If you select the single color, you can actually choose what kind of color you would like your bars would be, but you can't choose the different colors for the different bars, for the different values. You can see both are changing, this and this one. So we can select, oh, this is too much. Let's leave this one, looks quite nice. And this is, like I mentioned before, just a single color. Now, if you go to X, we have some options in here. We can select what we want to see and what we don't. So labels and title, just label. So in here will be only years, title only, like in here, and known. If you already know what's in this chart, but maybe you know, but the people who will be watching the chart does not know, so keep that in mind. We're gonna leave labels and title. Label orientation, you can select auto, horizontal or titled a little bit, so it's also up to you. Let's leave it auto now because it's quite wide, so we can leave for the program to decide how to keep it. And the position, the same goes for y-axis, same options, so we're not going to look through them. So that's more or less about all for the combo chart. You can see it's slightly different, but there is one more thing you can do, not just in the combo chart, but in almost all charts in Qlik Sense, you can add 2 dimensions in one chart, and the user will be able to choose what we would like to see. So let's add it. In our chart, dimension is here. It's years. So yeah, it's selected. Let's go to data, and we can see measures in here and dimensions in here. And we have alternative dimensions. So if we press alternative, add alternative, we can add another dimension. So let's make it similar. Let's add it, for example, year and month, like this. It looks the same now, but if you press done editing, we have an option in here. We can select, and we can select date, year, month. And now we can see years and each month. We want to make it bigger. Let's press in here. Here you go. Totally different chart. Of course, if you press on any of these columns, the filter will be applied. If you go to some kind, let's go back to the years, and let's select, for example, 2018. Yep, calendar is applied. Press OK. Now, if you go to date, year, month, you will see months only for that year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12. 12 months for that current year. Remove a filter at the top of the page, and you will see all months again. So this is how the combo chart works. It's very similar to a bar chart, but it has more opportunities, more capabilities, and more functionality. So when doing your charts, you can consider if you want to use it or not. And that's about it for the combo chart. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please like it, please subscribe it. Also, please check my Patreon page. There are some cool stuff in here as well, like for example the Qlik file for this chart, if you want to see it like this. And see you next time. Starting now. Let's roll. Let's try again. Did I just say 2 colors or 2 columns? Right? Sheet. Let's repeat again.